Hey Gemini, welcome back to MonAndU. This is the first of the signs readings that I'm doing on my channel. And I wanted to do it a little bit differently. So I've toyed around with different ways to read for signs, whether I do a kind of generalized reading for the totality of the sign, or if I focus specifically on rising signs. I've done both of them. And then as I sat down, I was getting into the energy and thinking about sun, moon, and rising energies. And so, what we're going to do here on this channel, and I want to say thank you to you guys, Gemini, because it's your energy that inspired this. We're going to talk about the overall Gemini energy in the cosmos right now, what energy you guys are working with. And then I have 3 piles here. So I'm actually going to timestamp them for you. And each of the piles represents a different Gemini placement. So this is Gemini Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please feel free to watch all 3 if you've got double, triple Gemini placements. Absolutely. If you feel as though you're called to more than one, please, by all means. But I did want to give it a little bit more of a narrowed focus for the placement so that you understand where this energy is presenting in your life. So if you're here for a, say, Gemini Sun, this is about who you are when you come out into the world. This is about the persona, the ego, the person that your soul came here to be embodied by. So a lot of the times we think of the rising sign as who the outside world sees us as, and we don't always see that part of ourselves. But I am actually going through an astrology course right now that has a completely different perspective that I absolutely love and that resonates so deeply with me. And that is that the rising sign is actually the place in the chart where your soul has risen up into this life. The rising sign is the place that your soul came here to experience itself. And the sun sign then is how the soul intended to express itself into the world, how it finds its beingness in the world. So this sun sign is how your soul finds beingness in the world. With the moon sign, this is about where you go internally, the emotions, the intuition, the instincts. This is where you find the greatest amount of change, where you resonate with your own soul, despite what the world says. So the Gemini moon is more that internal versus the sun that is external. And then we have the Gemini rising. And again, I go back to the explanation where this is where your soul came to be, rose up into this life. So your soul was the first spark, the sun the second, then the moon. Even despite the placements in the chart, the moon was or is the bridge between the sun and the rising. And so in order for it to understand the 2 parts that it is bridging, both parts needed to be formed first. That's very interesting. I've never picked that up before. Wow, Gemini. Okay. So I do have cards over here. I know you guys can't see them, but it is what the thumbnail for your message was. It's the 9 of Cups. We have the card Sweet Alchemy that says, I'm going to move this here, transmutation, divine light, and cycles of growth. And then we have a mid-phase waxing crescent moon, and it's about awareness. And again, that card, I say again, but this is because this energy has a link to the Venus retrograde energy of the collective reading that I just recently posted. That doesn't mean that you have to necessarily go and listen to that. If you feel called to, please feel free to. But I do feel a very strong kind of parallel connection here. So Gemini, this is the energy overall for all Gemini placements. So whether you're a sun, a moon, a rising, Venus, Mercury, Mars, whatever it is that has you here. This is the energy overall that the cosmos and your guides and your ancestors want you to be aware of. Now, I do have an overall channeled message as well. So I'm going to go ahead and timestamp the start of the message. And then I'm going to go ahead and read it and we'll keep going from there. So it says, Gemini, one of the greatest struggles of the modern world is one of the most abundant blessings, communication. Gemini is the melting pot, the melding point, the memory potentiality. Gemini is where we all collectively meet together to communicate, not only with each other, but with our souls, our divinity, our spark of immortality that begins and ends and begins again the many journeys of growth. Geminis, whether you are here for your sun, moon, rising, or if you are seeking insights of another, perhaps a place in your chart, or you're here to seek insight on another person, it is you who hold the key to wisdom humanity needs right now. Through the collective of humanity, through all of history. You who understand the authenticity of the dynamism that is understanding all the varied perceptions, perspectives, and possibilities, who glide from place to place, moment to moment, ever changing, yet always the same. You hold much wisdom. In whatever manner you have been, will be, and currently are called by a higher power. For me, I call it DC, which is short for Divine Creator, and naturally a play on the comics. I believe our Divine Creator is like even better than Batman. Communication is the quote unquote name of the game. And I actually saw name of the game in lights, and it was in quotation marks in my third eye when I was writing this. So communication is the name of the game for you. And then I was getting a vision of a chessboard, and it was a chessboard that was completely empty, except for 2 rows right in the middle. And there were 2 kings on the chessboard, and they were facing each other. So the white king was on a black square and the black king was on a white square. And they were each learning unity from its opposite. So instead of there being a checkmate or a stalemate, there was this melding together, this coming together of the 2 energies. So one of those kings represented communication through speaking. Its mirror, the other one, represented communication through listening. And then I was getting this kind of disjointed messages, just kind of stutter stopping in. And I heard, your ears take in, your mind comprehends, but your heart hears what it is that the soul speaks. And then I saw mirrors, and they were rippling like the glass of the mirrors were turning to water. And I heard changing the reflection through gazing upon the changes. I'm not entirely sure what that means. It seems kind of confusing because it's using changing and changes. But I got the sense that you guys would know what it meant for you in your own personal life. And then I got perfect imperfections. And now I'm seeing like when you put a screen protector on, but you don't get, it's not necessarily that you don't get all the bubbles out. So there's like one bubble. It's like all of a sudden, I don't even know what would cause this. Maybe it's heat or something would cause it, but there's a bunch of tiny little bubbles formed all over. And it's almost like they're dots that you could connect together to create an image, but nobody else can create the image but you. That's interesting. I don't know what that means, but that's what I just picked up from Perfect Imperfections. And then I got the quote unquote other, sparks, sputters, fireworks. And then I heard revelation. And I got numbers 0440, 1441, and then 4004, 4114. And then I got what felt like, it almost felt like an incantation. And it was mirrored seem inside out, yet still they are the same. In sum, in song, inside. And then it stopped. So with the numbers, and what felt like an incantation kind of went together. And I'll take a picture of this message as well as those cards, and I will put them on my community page so you guys can have that to kind of look at and reference, if you feel called to it. So, overall, Gemini, the biggest thing here is about communication. And this doesn't mean that you are meant to go marching in the streets. I mean, if you feel called to, please do. Like, we're in a day and an age where the more people that go marching in the streets, the more people that use their voices, the more people that rise up and speak truth, the better it is, because we're in a disinformation, misinformation age where there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of information. There are a lot of thoughts. There are a lot of opinions, but the truth lies within the heart and the soul. And so when we speak that truth, when we allow that truth to come straight from our center up into our throat chakra and out into the world, when we're doing that, we are doing divine work. It doesn't matter what context of your life this applies. When you stand firmly in the truth of your heart and your soul, and you speak that into existence, into your world, into the masses, into the collective, into just a conversation with your family or your boss or your friend or whatever, what you're doing is you're spreading divine love into this world. You are acting as a mouthpiece for the divine. And now I'm seeing images of the band Sleep Token. I don't know if anybody here listens to them. They are absolutely above and beyond. They are like my number 2 band. And that is saying something because my number 1 is Pop Evil and they're very close. But with Sleep Token, the band does not identify themselves because they consider themselves vessels. So the singer considers himself a vessel for the divine. The words he sings, the stories he tells, and he has 3 albums. They have 3 albums that tell a progressive story. A story of spiritual awakening, of the dark night of the soul, of what we all go through. They're using their voice to sing a truth from their hearts and their souls, and they're bringing it forth into the collective so that other people can interact with divine energy, so that those songs, those words can unlock something within. You have a dream in your heart, and you have this hope and this faith that is so beautiful in this energy that I'm feeling, that it has the capability of alchemizing things out in the world for others. This sweet alchemy card feels like it's like a wish of your soul, but not for you specifically. It's for what you have the capability of doing in this world. And with the awareness and the waxing crescent moon, the waxing crescent moon phase, it operates between the new moon and the first quarter moon. The new moon is about new intentions. It's the dark period where we are in that liminal space. We are cleansing, we are clearing, we are setting intentions for something new. We are starting again. The first quarter phase is when we reevaluate those intentions, the initiative energy that we've taken and the actionary steps that we've taken. And now we're going to have this idea that we have, the seeds that we've planted, we're going to give it a stronger form. We're going to take more action on it. So in the middle of that is when we're initiating it. We are saying, I've planted these seeds. I've nurtured myself. I've released that which would hold myself back from bringing these seeds from their form into another form. I have released any hindrances, hesitations, limitations, restrictions from within me that say that I can't, that tell me that I'm not capable. I've released these. I have taken action steps towards what I have planted, bringing it into fruition. I have taken action steps to work through any emotions and thoughts that come up that might serve as preventative to this being seen. So this is about the awareness of the light and the dark that we carry within ourselves. You have this beautiful awareness and can see all sides of the coin. That's why people think of Gemini as the chameleon, the shapeshifter, the changer, because you ebb and you flow and you understand the nature of both humanity and the divine. So you can change this. You can understand that we have these hopes and these dreams, but we also have these negative self-talk biofeedback loops. Essentially, you understand that we have both a heart and a soul, and sometimes those two don't seem to get along. We have a mind that doesn't always jive with what the soul is saying. No, this is what you do, because our mind is going, but wait, we're in this kind of world, we're doing this kind of thing. And you understand all of those different aspects that can impact our lives. And because you understand all of that, you then have the capability of helping others understand the complexity and the dynamism that they contain within themselves. And for me, I'm a very, very, very overwhelming fixed energy. I have all of my chart angles in fixed signs. I'm a fixed moon. So I'm used to that energy of fixed nature. I get very stubborn. I get very set in my ways. And then if it doesn't work, if one of the ways that I am stuck in is not benefiting me anymore, it takes a lot for me to change. But Gemini, it's a natural thing for you. It's like every day is a new adventure, because every day gets to be different, because you get to be different every day. And you don't hold yourself to the standards of having to remain consistent when you're in your best Gemini energy, because you understand that you are here to experience the duality of being both divine and human in this world. And the world right now needs more of you. Just point blank, the world needs more of you. And that's the energy that came through your sign when I decided, okay, I'm ready to begin filming again. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll just do collective messages. Maybe I'll do pick a cards. And your sign's energy blasted that idea completely out and said, no, you need to talk to my energy. You need to interact here. Your sign was the most persistent. And I've been doing this for a couple of years. This may be a new channel, but I have had 2 other YouTube tarot reading channels, one of which I have already taken down. But I've done sign messages. I've had some really profound experiences with it. I have never had a sign be so adamant, like, nope, this is what you're doing, and you are channeling this. That I know that this 100%, I'm here, Gemini, because you called me. All the many ways that you present yourself, you came and you called me. So now let's find out the more subtle nuances of this energy. I'm going to go ahead and pop timestamps in the description box for you guys. I wish I had a pen, but I don't. So anyway, that's just me thinking to myself. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the Gemini Sun. So I'm going to move the rising and the moon over a little bit. And as you guys can see, I lit this candle before I started. I wanted to give just a little extra intention of protection and cleansing during these readings. It felt very much like, to be honest, it felt like I needed to create a safe space for you so that you understood that this is a safe space for you, because it feels like the divine is calling you. This edict coming from the divine that is saying, it's time for you to step up and use your voice, Gemini. It's time for you to use all the different facets and aspects of who you are here in this world, because the world needs you so much. And because you need the world too, for the experience of humanity. Your humanity, not everybody else's. Interesting. Okay. Gemini Suns at 21 minutes. So we're going to start with the moon energy, anything that you might need. And this is just a quick reference here. We have the 4 elements. Again, I'm getting this really strong connection to that collective Venus message. So that tells me that you guys are really tapped into this collective energy, but the cosmic energy right now. So we have air, which is imagination, inspiration, and the mind. That is your dominant element. As a Gemini sun, air dominates your sun. Then there's fire, passion, energy, and spirit. Water, love, intuition, and emotions. Earth, grounding, protection, and body. Your elemental opposite is earth. So fire and water are polarities. Air and earth are polarities. Air has substance without form. Earth is substance of form. That's interesting. Okay. And then you guys have the 5 of Pentacles. I just heard recognizing something is spiritually bankrupt. But I don't feel like this 5 of Pentacles is impacting you. I don't feel a depletion with your energy. So usually the 5 of Pentacles is like you are in serious need of resources. You are lacking resources in some way, shape, or form. And oftentimes it's correlated to the physical world, to financial, whatever. But with this apple, if you've ever cut an apple in half, if you cut it this way, if you cut it vertically, top to bottom, you have these 2 sides. But if you cut it horizontally, right to left, or left to right, depending on how you choose to, what you see is a star out of the seeds more often than not. I think there is at least one type of apple that has 6 seeds in it. So it's a asterisk kind of form instead of, or a sextile symbol instead. I don't know why that matters, but I was seeing them both. It's like we don't recognize what it is that we have within us, the form, the ease, the energy. We don't recognize what we have within us when we feel as though there are no resources, as though we are completely depleted of the help and the financial aid and the resources that are available or that we are capable of bringing into our lives. We don't recognize that we contain the energy within ourselves. So if we're working with a star energy, we are working with the 5 elements. This may say 4 elements, but there is ultimately a 5th element that exists. That 5th element in existence. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. That 5th element that's in existence is ether. It's what exists at the center. But when we're looking at the star, ether exists as the top point. So we've got the 4 elements here, 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 and here, and up at the top is considered spirit. Spirit also is considered the circle. It's what holds all of it together. When we're looking in the wrong direction, when we're evaluating something from the top down, instead of going from side to side or just going directly into the middle of it, we want to expose the absolute middle. And we don't see the middle clearly when we're evaluating top to bottom or bottom to top. We have to cut directly through. Take it like this, flip it. Now you see the reality that what is contained in the inside is uniform. There's nothing depleted. Now I'm getting a magician energy, which is Mercury, which is your ruling planet. And then we have the golden hour, positive omens, great central sun. You've got to be kidding me. Some of you may want to do some meditative work out in the sun. If you can, I totally understand if you can't. Like for me right now, we're just in a temperature increase. So it's been nicer, but I still would not be outside during sunset unless I'm in like a vehicle. But I'm getting this kind of energy of watching the sunset and watching how the sky goes from bright blue to pinks and purples, and then it turns into oranges and yellows, which is kind of the oppositional way of the sunrise. Interesting. I don't know if that's how it works. That's what I'm seeing. So it's recognizing that as something rises and something sets, they do this dance of mirroring each other, again with the mirrors, mirroring each other so that we understand that they may present themselves differently, but they contain the same thing. And with that, when you can recognize that, now you can recognize that there is no such thing as true depletion. Depletion doesn't exist in this land. So this is about you recognizing that there are more things out there that are here to benefit you, to help you shine brightly, to help you navigate your way through life, to help you bring that communication forth, and that voice of yours, that beautiful voice of yours, bring it out into the world, share it with others, share it with your friends and family, or just sit, sitting on the dock of the bay. I think that's a song. But sitting on the dock at the bay, watching the sunset and talking to the sun, talking to the air, talking to the earth, talking to fire. The sun in and of itself is a physical representation of fire out in our solar system. It is a burning ball of fire that, so it's talking to these things. You're sitting at the water. It's this convalescing of all of the elements, and you are there to represent spirit into form. So within you, all of these things come alive, and everything that felt depleted turns into a dream. It turns into this 9 of Cups. Look, we've got the sun and the moon here. And in between, we have 9 cups surrounding what exists in the middle. What exists in the middle is the earth. What exists in the middle is you. You hold the opposites. Don't worry, I'm not going to set myself on fire. There's a lot of understanding and energy here that's coming forth for you. But most of it is here to tell you you have more at the tips of your fingers. More as you walk out your door, as you greet the world, as you interact with the different forms in the world. You realize that sometimes the resources that you're seeking in order to fulfill that feeling that you have in your heart and your soul, that feeling, that urge, that longing, that pull to come out, to share, to change, to transform, to alchemize, that feeling you feel at times there, you may feel at times as though there is a depletion, there is a lack. What are you learning from that? Lack is a great teacher if we listen to it, if we learn from it. You understand both abundance and lack. You stand in the center, in the middle, in the liminal as the bridge. There's more in this world ready to join you on your mission than you may think if you're looking in one way and you're not allowing your natural nature to transform that way. Wow. Okay. That is the message for Gemini Sun. Now we're going to go on to Gemini Moon. And we're going to start with, again, another waxing crescent moon and vision. So Gemini moons, we are working here. Whoa. Even if the vision changes, it fluxes and it flows. Does it really change? It could be upside down. It could be backwards. But if you have the ability to sit with the divine feminine, to allow her message, her energy, her wisdom to come in, what are you capable of envisioning for your life, for your future, for your world, for your place in the world? Wow, the energy here is coming through so powerfully. Okay, we have the Maiden of Pentacles. She who persists shall find, shall seek, shall find. It's there. It's right there. I don't know what this message is, but I feel it. I feel it in a way that is like my inner child rising up and going, oh my gosh, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Do you remember being a kid and when fall came, watching the leaves turn colors and then fall to the ground? Do you remember big piles raked together and the giggling and the jumping in them? I remember doing that when I was a kid. And as I would jump in, ladybugs would always be just all over in big leaf piles in the fall. And I remember one of them had so many that I jumped in and they all just kind of took flight. It was like this magical thing. And I'm seeing that for you, but I'm not seeing just ladybugs. I'm seeing fireflies. I'm seeing honeybees. I'm seeing dragonflies. And I'm hearing colorful birds calling, yellows and blues and reds. And they're all singing these beautiful songs, and you can hear the flapping of the wings. And it's just this ethereal, beautiful moment in which you realize that you can wait and wait and wait from the moment that the last leaf falls off the tree, from the moment the first snowflake falls to the ground, the waiting begins, and you wait through all the seasons for that one magical moment to jump in that pile of leaves. But the thing is, when you forget, when you feel as though you have waited forever and it's never coming into being, and you forget what it felt like, it can be hard to envision it again. So your guides, your ancestors, your angels are asking you to tap back into that inner child inside of you. Tap back into that part of you that sees magic and mystery and mysticism and wonder and awe out in the world, that jumps in the leaves and giggles and laughs and engages with that magic that you can see that other people may not. They may discount. Age may have tried to wear it out of you, but it still exists deep inside of you. And you have the capability of not just remembering it, not just envisioning it, but bringing it back to life through the envisioning of that magic, through seeing it in all its many forms in the world. If that snowflake did not fall, then no leaves would ever grow again. Because every season matters for the trees to go through the cycles they need. So every season is important, and they may seem very long. We can have these incredibly long seasons of our lives. But Mother Nature teaches us, even if we're in an incredibly long winter season, even if it feels like we are in spring and we just keep planting and planting and planting and planting, but nothing is really growing because the seeds are just sitting in that fertile soil waiting until the time is right. We could be stuck in the summer season, and the longer the summer season goes, the longer your exhaustion or the more your exhaustion becomes, because summer is the season of work and play. And when you are consistently working on making sure that the things that you have planted continue to grow, but you're not able to reap those benefits yet, that can be very long. When you're in the season of reaping, that can be a long, arduous process because you have to learn how to utilize certain resources in this way and in this way, and how to save certain resources and try to prognosticate or project whatever the winter is going to be again, and make sure that you maintain the resources that you're going to need for the next hard season. And we never know when the seasons are going to fully change in our lives. We just continue to move forward. So when you're sitting in a very long season that is not the season that you're yearning for, envisioning the season that you're yearning for can be a double-edged sword. But if you forget to picture it, over time, you can forget what it felt like. You can forget the magic of it. And your heart does not want you to forget. Wow. Oh my gosh. We have the card Dreamy Escape, Wanderlust, Hidden Treasures, and Sojourn. This right here, your heart, your soul is asking you to dream again. There's so much green in this. There's so much of your heart coming through and saying, it's time for you to believe in magic again. Now I'm hearing, do you believe in magic? I would try and sing it, but I've been dealing with slowly healing from laryngitis. So that's why my voice is as scratchy as it is. It's not normally this low. Um, but yeah, maybe that's a song that you guys want to listen to. I believe in magic. I can't remember. Let me see. Do you believe in magic? That's what it is. It's by The Lovin' Spoonful. Yep. I will also link that song for you guys in the description box so that if you want to listen to it, hopefully that will help open you up. Gemini Moons, you have this ability to dream an existence into being, to dream a life into form. But it's about remembering how you used to do that when you were a kid. In those magical moments, like jumping into that leaf pile. How long has it been since you have engaged with your imagination? Since you have engaged with your playful nature? Since you've engaged with your inner child? Now is the time. This is the day. This is the time. It's all here and it's ready and waiting for you. All right, Gemini Moons, that is the message I have for you. What a beautiful message. I absolutely 100% feel like sitting down and watching The Parent Trap, because Do You Believe in Magic always makes me think of The Parent Trap. And it's just that kind of like silliness of the secret handshake and of, all of the little pranks they play, all of that. It's a special kind of magic, remembering the things that we loved when we were kids, engaging in the things that we loved when we were kids. Maybe it's time for you to take a sojourn into your childhood. Watch movies from when you were a kid. Eat candy that you loved as a kid, or cookies, without going, oh my gosh, the calories, oh my gosh, this, oh my gosh, that. But instead, just letting yourself be free like you were as a kid. Do the things that made you feel alive. Remember what it's like. Take that sojourn down that beautiful way and allow yourself to envision a life that is as joyful as those moments. Okay, now your message is done. Let's move on to Gemini Risings, the soul of Gemini. We have the waxing gibbous moon with connect, and we have the fire energy. Okay, here's the biggest thing. I was picking up this energy from the very start. When you're working with fire energy, fire is that passion. But how does fire stay lit? How does a flame stay lit? It needs oxygen. It needs air. Passion needs air. So passion needs the fuel of your mind. You must learn to connect these two together. You must understand that to be the actual soul of a Gemini, to embrace this placement, this truth of yourself, is to embrace a duality that you are and connect them, because they are not different. They are the same. They are more similar to each other than they are different, but it is only through perception. So perception, which is based off of the five senses, what you can smell, see, taste, and touch, and hear. That's the other one. And hear. So whatever is physical is your perception. But what if your perspective goes beyond? Take me, for example. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Your guides were just like, use you. And then, so for me, for example, I used to be very pragmatic. My mom called me a realist. My husband challenged that by saying, but it's such a negative perspective. And I said, no, I'm just being real. I've dealt with my fair share of ABUSE. I don't want to get flagged. Domestic in nature. I've dealt with SA, if you know what that is. I've been stalked. I've been through torment, genuine torment, and what is considered to be essentially domestic terrorism or relational terrorism. I've been through these just horrendous experiences. And so because I had gone through that, I used to have this perspective of humanity that was just expectant of negativity and hurt. And I threw walls up and I just saw the world through this lens of cynicism. I used to look at the world and believe that no matter what, everyone is capable of hurting someone else. No one should really be trusted. And it wasn't until 2015, 2016 that viewpoint got changed, because I went through a divorce. I met someone new. I opened my eyes to the ways in which my belief of everything in the world was so damn skewed because of all the things that I went through. And I had to stop and reevaluate. And when I was put into a position in which I was faced with the worst of the worst in my life, I fell to my knees and I prayed to invisible air, essentially, is how I used to see it. But I asked for help. I asked for guidance. And then I had to accept the fact that I have had these gifts and I have been ignoring them, and it's been making me sick and this and that. I had to connect with the essence of my fiery nature, which is my natural way. I had to connect those. I've seen the world through that light. But when your perception says that you can't possibly be two things at once, your soul says you are both and. You are both and. It's time for perspective to outweigh the formation through perception. It's time for you to see and embrace and embody who you are in this world. And that is someone that is full of polarities and dualities. It is somebody who is full of what the world would call contradictions, but you're meant to be contradictory in nature, because when you embrace all those different contradictions and you come out into the world, you come out with a blaze and you connect. You connect deeply to the things that we don't want to look at within ourselves, to the parts of ourselves that we don't know how to expand into. We're afraid, and you are the healing medicine, the alchemist that can come in and say, you don't need to be afraid, because I know I exist with all of that inside of me. And if I can do it, you can do it. But the first step is connecting to your passion, connecting your mind to your passion, and recognizing that that is okay to be. Let it get stoked up into this fiery blaze. Let your flame rise up and up and up and up. Bright, shining flame that goes everywhere. The world needs you to help fan the flames of acceptance in that duality within ourselves, so that we stop running from the different parts of ourselves, because you have shown us what a beautiful existence it is to embrace and embody that. Wow. I feel like I'm preaching. And we have the King of Swords. Look at this. Fire and air. The King of Swords, he can be that cynic. He can be that pragmatic mind that cuts to the chase. And a lot of people think of the King of Swords as being very almost cruel, but he's got a hawk above him. You have this keen insight and a way of bringing it forward in a no-nonsense way. That's what the King of Swords is. That's what you are here to do. And that's just divine masculine energy that's here to say, I'm here to speak my truth. If you don't like it, I don't care, because my truth matters and the world needs to hear it. My truth comes from my passion. It connects and it flows and it goes out from my heart through into the world. And this is what I'm here to do. This is who I'm here to be. And I make no apologies for that. That is what that King of Swords is here to do, is that action of honesty, integrity out in the world. I love it. We have tune your frequency, boundaries, magnetism, and energy clearing. Look at this. This is you. This is you coming back in, connecting to yourself, connecting to the soul of who you are, and saying, I'm going to embrace the honesty of who I am and what I believe in this world. Yes, humanity can be absolutely depraved. Humanity can be depraved. They can do all of this harm. They can hurt each other. They can fight against each other, whatever. But does that mean that we have to be that way? Absolutely not. Who we are at our core, we're divine. We're inspiring. We're alive. We are alive. And it's time to connect to that. It's time to tune your frequency to life, to blessings, to truth. It's time to bring the awareness that you have out into the world, to share that. There is this divine edict going through the collective. I have felt it, and it brought me back. It brought me here. Your energy brought me here to share this, so that you know it's okay to do this. However it is that you are led, that you are called, it is okay to do that. It is okay to embrace the beauty that is every facet of who you are. Okay, Gemini, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for calling to me. Thank you for giving me form of a new way of doing these messages. Thank you so, so much. You guys are amazing. I want to say thank you to your guides, my guides. Say thank you to the Great Spirit ancestors, angels, deities. Thank you to the cosmos, to the cosmic wisdom, to the stars and the constellations, the planets that guide our way. And thank you to you, Gemini. If this resonated, if you guys feel called to, if you want to support this channel, awesome. Thanks. You guys can like this video, subscribe to my channel. And if you guys are interested in the channeled messages and images of the cards so that you guys can tap in more personally, I don't know what the word was. Anyway, it'll be on my community page. Without further ado, I leave you here. I love you, Geminis. Mwah. Bye.